Hey everyone, I am Anaris. It is BlizzCon weekend, and I'm trying to scour the internet for some more of the more humorous games that I find laying around on the various websites and whatnot. This particular matchup is between ClouD as the Blue Terran and I something like that. I probably was a little bit off on that, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to refer to him as Cabbage from here on out. So, we have Cabbage spawning as the Red Protoss. Congrats on your new name. And already, a little confused here. Got a probe heading out. Definitely don't have a pylon in the base. Something is fishy in this map, as we have a pylon going down right here. It's kind of close to the base, man. I don't know if this is gonna work. Yep, sure enough, the Terran player sees it, so this is already gonna be kind of interesting. See how this one plays out. And then if nothing else, the probe is definitely letting the Terran player know that he is here. Taking that SCV down to 15 hit points, but not finishing off. Meanwhile, a slew of SCVs are going to come out here. These four are going to attack the gateway. This is definitely the A-team for the Terran players, as this probe is continuing to run around. Might actually see some sort of offensive proxy pulled off here really early in the game. Don't know, man. The barracks is a little bit over halfway done. Second gateway going down, but the first gateway, no shields, and it's sitting at less than half hit points, as you can see right here. I don't think it's really going to be able to finish building and then produce a unit before it dies. So it may just be better if he cut his losses, but that's just me. Meanwhile, you can see that he is building a pylon in his base, continuing to chrono boost probes up, just in case this doesn't work. So that's a pretty good idea. He's trying to make sure that he has a backup plan, so to speak. So that way this isn't sort of an all-in, but I'll tell you what, man, there's now 6 SCVs down here attacking these gateways, and I just don't see how this is going to work. Especially since there was a Marine that just popped right there, and this SCV chased off the probe, who is now giving up the fight, so to speak. That gateway was just cancelled in the nick of time. Meanwhile, this one is about halfway done building. A couple SCVs heading back to mine. Pretty good call, as like I said, there is a Marine now doing the damage that needs to be done. Gas going down for the Protoss player. And Cabbage is chrono boosting up some probes, so pretty standard recovery, I guess you'd call from that, if there was a recovery build from something like this. I don't know, but this gateway just barely canceled in the nick of time. And once this pylon goes down, Protoss is going to be sitting supply blocked, I think. I've got my little fraps number in the top left, so 19 out of 26, I think, right now. And I just hope for the Protoss' sake that he will have another pylon down in time, as this one goes, sure enough, right there, and Protoss is now 19 of 18 supply blocked. Second gateway is just about complete. There goes a Cybernetics core. Don't have a pylon just yet, though. He is working on one assimilator right now, and you can see from the income, actually, Cabbage is sitting a little bit better in terms of the money, and that's because his economy was not interrupted during that whole fiasco. Meanwhile, what the heck is this? So, awesomeness is being countered by more awesomeness, as there are now a boatload of SCVs and a few Marines coming up here too to do a counter cheese, which the Protoss player does know about, as since the Marines did kill that probe. He is trying to warp in some Stalkers, which is the good thing to do right before the Cybernetics core goes down, which it looks like it will. We do have 2 bunkers being built at the top of the ramp. I'll tell you what, man, if this is not ClouD trying to say, "I see what you did, and I raise you 2 bunkers in the face," and I do not know what is, but I absolutely love seeing stuff like this, man. We're not even 6 minutes into the game yet, and already we've got gateways flying around the map, bunkers being put everywhere, SCVs chasing other SCVs, and it is just a hilarious time indeed. As the Terran player does continue to reinforce with more Marines across the map, he is building 2 more barracks in his base. Pretty smart move if he's going to continue to push this. However, he does not have any gas. He is trying to, actually he's not even trying to build any SCVs. He's probably just so focused on this attack, making sure it works, that he's building more bunkers. Alright, so this is the Terran counter to an offensive gateway that fails. When in doubt, throw a bunch of bunkers in their base. Actually, it's a pretty good move, I'm not going to lie. If you can catch the Protoss player off guard, which I think if if ClouD had left probably like 15-20 seconds earlier, he would have been in a much better position with this push. But, I mean, you know, both players are where they are at now. This gateway is dead. Forge is up. Nothing's hitting it just yet. This bunker, of course, is hitting this pylon. I'm not sure if this bunker... I think it could hit the Nexus if it really wanted to. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it could if it's hitting that Forge. But there is another cannon going down here now, which is in the range of the bottom bunker. Little bit of intense action going on here as there is now return fire. This reminds me of two ships just lining up and shooting side by side, seeing which one goes down first. Unfortunately for the Protoss player, this ship has repair units, but this one isn't getting attacked. So, OP? Maybe. I don't know. But either way, that's not for the discussion of this video, as the Terran player is now throwing down 3 tech labs, so he is definitely going to try to push right over those stalkers and cannons with what looks like to be a Marauder heavy force. As he started to build something there, I didn't quite catch what it was. Whatever, we're just going to let it go, as I'm sure we will see in a moment. We do have 3 Marauders on the way. Economy looking a little bit better for the Terran player. Meanwhile, the Protoss is managing to push back just a little bit, trying to micro away his stalkers, letting one come in, take some damage, move it back, etc. It's not doing a whole lot of good for this bunker, but it is pulling SCVs off of the bottom bunker, allowing this cannon to get in and do some more damage and drain the Terran economy. I mean, if nothing else, this is like just plugging a hole right into ClouD's bucket of minerals, so to speak. Not going to have too much of an impact, but it is going to have an impact nonetheless. So, 3 more Marauders are on the way. You can see there are 3 going across the map right now. Terran player still trying to come in. Protoss actually was able to snipe off one of the SCVs. So the SCV count is definitely dwindling a little bit here as Cabbage is trying to build up in the back of his base. Pretty good move there. Does have another pylon going down. 2 robotics facilities. This would actually work out really well in the Protoss favor if he does decide to go heavy Immortals, because of the fact that the Terran has opted to go directly into 3 tech labs with Marauders being shot out the wazoo in an attempt to take down the almighty Cabbage cannon. But unfortunately, you know, the Terran player really isn't getting in here trying to do any damage. I mean, the Protoss player, it's not like he'd be able to repair it, so if he were to zip in a little bit, try to, you know, do some damage, zip out, you know, it's really hard to say at this point what's going to happen, as really, this is where the action that's right now. A cannon and a bunker. Pretty exciting stuff, but I'll tell you what, I definitely did enjoy seeing the first half of this game, or the first part of the game, where the Terran player countered the Protoss offensive gateways. Pretty good stuff there. That Terran base at the top of the ramp now gone, so that's pretty much over. He does have a relatively Marauder-heavy force here. Protoss trying to move out. He really doesn't have enough Immortals and Stalkers to take out the firepower, or to push the firepower of this army. Sure, the Immortals will do a great job of countering the Marauders, but it's just not enough damage overall when he's only got 2 of them. Now he's got 3 of them, but he does have them more on the way, currently boosting them out. 1 cannon goes down, 2nd cannon going to go down. Probes are going to come out, try to sandwich in the Terran forces. Great force fields go down, keeping these Marines and Marauders right where they need to be for the Protoss player to take them out. Great move by Cabbage using the probes and the force fields. Great placement on that. So Terran is actually going to retreat. I think he realizes that that pressure is pretty much over. Neither player has expanded yet. We are getting pretty close to 13 minutes into the game. Don't see any expansions just yet. One is on the way for the Terran player, though. Taking a look at the army size, we can see that ClouD actually is sitting at a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of quantity and quality. But he is certainly in a decent position to rebuild that, as we do have 2 Immortals with a great drop there, taking off a couple SCVs. But well, no, it looks like he actually, no, that wasn't actually great. He did as much damage as possible to the SCVs without actually killing any of them. So whatever, good try. You did your best. You did your best, Cabbage. Yeah, I got nothing. But this Warp Prism is going to come in and maybe try to hit another SCV, as one thing that this attack did accomplish was Cabbage was able to attack the SCV building the factory, so it did delay that for a few seconds, about 10 seconds or so before the Terran player was able to react and throw another SCV onto building that building. So the expansion is going down for Cabbage at his natural, and we don't see the command center lifting off just yet. The orbital command did finish just a few seconds ago, we can tell by the energy sitting there. And we are going to see some SCVs transferring down, possibly, maybe just a... Oh, okay, I see what's going on. I think he knows that we're going to have an attack here, and he's just getting ready to repair. But, you know, I'm not really sure what's going to happen here, as the Protoss player really doesn't have enough, I think, to push up and really take this ramp for sure. But, you know, there is a warp prism here, so he will be able to scout out and reinforce at the same time. Or actually just reinforce now, since it is turned into a warp field, so to speak. Meanwhile, in the Protoss base, looking pretty good in terms of the expansion. It is complete. He did transfer a lot of the probes away, so pretty good income from that, as an observer is now over the Terran base. The Protoss player knows exactly what he's getting into as he does start to run up, make a push, but decides instead, you know what, just throw down some force fields, get back, and we're just going to call this one good for the moment. And it's probably a good call, as we do have a factory coming over here doing a traditional scouting with the factory. We see that pretty often with Terran players. And as far as the teching goes for the Terran player, we do see a reactor and a couple medevacs coming out for the Terran. So pretty standard MMM ball strat for him so far. This factory just getting over here, seeing that there is an expansion, pretty much fully saturated there, and this base up here kind of running low on minerals, pretty close there. Looking at the income again, you can see though that this is definitely giving him an economic advantage, especially with the gas. That is really where it's going to count for the Protoss player, since he does have the 2 robotic facilities and he is trying to counter the Marauders with the Immortals. So the Terran player coming in here with a drop, several Marauders being dropped down here. We have 8 total doing a, it looks like it's going to be a DPS race, trying to take down the Nexus before the land units are able to get over here, because these destructible debris is here. He will not be able to reinforce it quickly enough, so I think it's actually going to go down. The Terran player is ignoring the Zealots, trying to load back up into the medevacs and make a clean getaway, although I don't think this one is going to get away. Sure enough, there it goes down to the ground below. And that's going to be that for the attack. However, you can definitely see where that brought Cabbage's economy back down below the Terran player. So I would say that attack was actually pretty effective. The Protoss player is sitting on a pretty good army right now, though. He does have 4 Immortals. He's going pretty sentry heavy, pretty good for the force fields and the shields and whatnot. So that'll definitely help out a lot there. And the Terran